Hey everyone, what's up? Go ahead and, pull up a chair, pull up a seat, if you would. Let's talk about it. Xbox fam, you know, Xbox, they've been having a little bit of struggles recently. I got to be real, right? Uh, they're having a lot of problems. And one of the problems that they're having is obviously exclusives. We all know they've been having a lot of exclusive problems. And this happens to be another blow if you're a fan of exclusives and if you're a fan of Xbox. As an Xbox fan, I think most of us, or a lot of us anyway, well, this might change, but a lot of us have kind of pursued and asked Microsoft to do, an Alan Wake sequel. They have the publishing rights, or they did until today. So if you guys are just joining me, please like the video, share it out. We're going to talk about this and hash this out and see just how you guys feel about Microsoft and good old Phil Spencer, right? Let's do it. So, thank you guys so much for joining me. This is going to be a fun video. This happened earlier today. I saw the news when it happened and I thought, hey, why not go ahead and do a video about it? This is going to be funny. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. Mostly, it was just interesting to see the different opinions of people, which, I'm always kind of respectful of that. I saw the opinions of, you know, the PlayStation crowd, of course. I saw the opinions of, just the people that didn't care one way or the other, the Xbox fans that were upset, the Xbox fans that kind of like are apologists and kind of damage control it. I'm going to give my opinion on what I particularly think. Obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed because it's something where Remedy Entertainment had spoken out multiple times uh, about wanting to do a sequel to Alan Wake, but that Microsoft owned the rights. And if you guys are any bit of a listener to the channel, you probably know that I've said multiple times that I've heard that Phil Spencer was never an Alan Wake fan. He didn't like that game at all. And despite the fact that the game actually went on to sell 5 million copies and it was highly requested and can you imagine? This game was a brand new IP in 2010, believe it or not, 9 years ago. And it was a new IP for Xbox 360 and exclusive that rated an 83 on Metacritic. A new IP that rated an 83, right? And you have this IP that could go any direction and you decide to just get rid of it and sell it, right? Can you imagine that? Especially looking at the IP that Microsoft has put out this generation, it's a bit weird, you know. Um, so with that being said, I did find it a little bit weird and a little bit upsetting and maybe just a tad bit distressing as well. So I know some of you guys are going to feel that way as well. Yeah, it is Monday. Oh, I do crappy podcast Monday, so I'm trying to do that as well. So this actually comes out at a really good time. Crappy Mondays. What a crappy Monday, right? Paige says, "Hey, Crap Gamer Reviews. Happy Monday. Glad to be here at the start of the stream. I always come at the end of the stream. Glad to have you here as well." Future 2500 says, "If Alan Wake 2 comes out on Sony, I will buy a PS5. Love Alan Wake." The funny thing is you see the different of opinions of people that now a lot of Xbox fans say they didn't like Alan Wake or Remedy's overrated. I don't know. For me to let an 83 Metacritic game go that was one Time Magazine's Game of the Year back in 2010 and had a lot of possibilities, I don't know if you do that if you're in Microsoft's current spot with exclusive. So Silent Hunter says Microsoft never owned IP rights. They only own publishing rights, just like Quantic Dream owned Detroit and all Sony owned publishing rights, and they also let go. But the difference is this wasn't something that, I don't know if there's a lot of Sony fans that were like, hey, give us a, Heavy Rain 2 or whatever. Like Alan Wake has literally been in limbo for 9 years, and the company came out and said, hey, we'd love to do a sequel, but it's up to Microsoft. So you're saying I don't know anything, despite the fact that I just said and linked that Microsoft gave back publishing rights, right? So they weren't allowed to put a game out without Microsoft's permission. That's the problem. And now Microsoft has given them permission. So, Maze's Rage says, "What's it going to take, Xbox fans? What's it going to take for you to stop getting shafted?" Oh, Silent Hunter's back again. He says Alan Wake didn't sold much at launch. Well, I think you mean didn't sell much at launch, but they did decide to launch it up against Red Dead Redemption. So, I mean, whose fault is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had to guess and just say, whose fault is that? I would say that's realistically Microsoft's fault. And at the end of the day, you know what? I think when you just kind of look back at some of the decisions that Microsoft is making, okay, a lot of their decisions have not made any sense, and I feel a little bit bad about it. So, Silent Hunter says Alan Wake sold millions when price dropped to $10. Well, I mean, don't you think that this is one of those situations where if Microsoft would actually believe in the game and would have greenlit a sequel, okay, if they would have greenlit a sequel, more people would have bought a sequel at launch having known the game. It was their fault for letting it come out at a particular time when nobody was going to really buy it and be interested. I did. I bought it. So it was a game that I'm very happy with, right? But at the same time, I don't understand why Microsoft continues to like baffle people and do this. So if you guys didn't know, Alan Wake publishing rights have just been reverted to Remedy Entertainment. According to this, which I linked in the description below, they've been reverted to Entertainment as announced by the company this morning with the following press release. For its first half-year period of 2019, Remedy Entertainment records approximately 2.5 million euros of royalty from previously released games as one-time income. The royalties are paid to Remedy during the second half-year period of 2019. In relation to this, the publishing rights of Alan Wake games are reverted to Remedy. The one-time income does not significantly affect Remedy's full-year result because, as previously reported, the company continues to invest in developing new games, the success of which will have a greater impact on the company's full-year revenue as a result. Given that Remedy already owned the IP itself with the publishing rights previously in the hands of Microsoft back at their disposal, the Finnish developers could very well work on a new Alan Wake game. It's something that the Remedy community has been requesting for a long time. In a recent interview, according to this site, with the Remedy communications manager, he said, every time we say something about Alan Wake, it becomes a headline. So I hope this doesn't sound bad, but look, we've been saying the same thing for so long. We like Alan Wake. We're fully moved, and it's not like we don't want to do more. We just have to find the right opportunity, but it's really humbling how much love there is. Anytime we put some community trailer, there's always some people saying, Alan Wake 2, please. So we hear you, but it's the same thing we've been saying for years. We've got to find the right opportunity. So obviously, in the meantime, Alan Wake is being adapted into a TV series with Remedy in the process of finishing up their new IP Control, which is going to release on August 27th. And obviously, that game looks a lot like, you guys know, Quantum Break, which is another game that we'll never see a sequel of. We're seeing a lot of people sort of wake up and kind of complain a little bit that, you know, Microsoft isn't really hearing the fans. They're a little bit tone deaf at this particular time, which I don't understand because everybody's so vocal nowadays on Twitter and stuff, right? So it's kind of clear. Like you've seen people, I saw people like Jez Gordon on Twitter this morning. And even he was feeling a little bit bummed out by this stuff, right? He was saying that Microsoft was kind of tone deaf to the single player gamer, right? Like if you're a single player fan, there's not exactly much in the way of AAA IP that Microsoft has to offer. And I think that's a little bit unfortunate and kind of sad at the same time. And hopefully Microsoft can do something to remedy that. I know that a lot of people will probably go, well, let's just look at some of the facts and things like that. You know, they're working on this or working on that. But the bottom line is this. We don't exactly know what Microsoft Studios are working on. We can speculate. We can speculate that Obsidian is working on a new IP that they literally just started, and that's going to take 3 to 5 years to make. But that could be an isometric top-down RPG for the PC or a Pillars of Eternity 3, right? It might not be what we think. It could be an online game like Destiny. We don't really know, you know? There's RPGs that can be online. It does seem a lot to me that if you look, what Microsoft is doing is a lot of like games that have online focuses, games as a service, and things like that. So I feel like it's a little bit unfortunate and, you know, kind of a bad look. Like, and there's a rumor going around that possibly Ninja Theory is working on a single player game as well. But I was looking and I haven't exactly found anything to corroborate that 100% they're working on a single player game. So we know they're doing Bleeding Edge, which is a multiplayer 4v4 game. And we saw that at E3, and that is what it is, right? Like a AA beat 'em up or whatever. And like, that's, you know, people who are going to play that are going to play it. But that's something that obviously Microsoft likes that idea because you put that in Game Pass, you get people playing it, you get people spending money on loot boxes and crates and all this kind of stuff. And it's you know, buying maps and whatever. And I think that makes them money if it's a hit. Okay. Whereas a single player game, that's in there, a AAA game doesn't make sense. So we'll get Ori 2s and Battletoads or whatever, but those are like smaller games that don't really cost as much to develop. So I think that's why we continue to get those type of games. But anything like just single player only, I don't think we're going to see a ton of that. And this is just kind of more along those lines that sort of prove that. And it's a little bit unfortunate because I feel like there's still a spot for single player games, even in Game Pass. But, it does kind of go to show you that Microsoft's head seems to be, and I don't mean like Phil Spencer alone, but Microsoft in general, they have this idea about where gaming's going, and they want it to be like almost all games as a service and Game Pass, and it only makes sense for Game Pass to have games that are games as a service where you got to continually pay. You get updates and you're online and being a monthly active user quite often. And I'm afraid that a game like that doesn't do it. J-Dub says, so folks got mad at you for not wanting Microsoft to keep making these anti-fan base moves. Seems only to get worse with each passing week. Yeah, that's the thing, right? And sorry I wasn't paying attention to the chat right away. I'm back and I'll be answering some questions and stuff, but it is unfortunate. A lot of people get mad at me because I've been one to speak out against Microsoft a little bit. To me personally, I'm going to be happy when Microsoft does something good, but I don't understand the apologist side of things so much anymore, because why sit there and go, hey, this is great news, this is good news, when to me it doesn't seem like good news. It just feels like Microsoft has given up on what could be a great single player game. And because why? We didn't really get any kind of reasoning behind it, right? I actually saw somebody on Twitter this morning go, hey, what great news. Microsoft is so pro-consumer, developer. Like, to me, it doesn't scream like that. I look at it from the other direction, like, oh, this is really Microsoft just being Microsoft, and, and they're just not really paying attention to what the fans are asking for. So I'm a bit bummed out by it. Now, on the other side, this could mean that Sony, who was rumored to buy Remedy for a little bit now, remember I did a video about that. They were rumored to buy or be looking to buying Remedy, have some kind of deal with Remedy. This would make perfect sense for them to kind of be in cahoots with Remedy to do this kind of game, right? Hold on one second. JD Gamer says, Remedy and Insomniac are likely becoming Sony first-party studios. Also, Microsoft is doing the same thing they did to Remedy to Insomniac with publishing rights. Well, I really did I saw some people on Twitter mention this, right? They're like, hey, while you're at it, which great comment question, JD Gamer. I saw people on Twitter this morning as well. Some people get angry, and rightly so. They said, why not just give publishing rights back to Sunset Overdrive, back to Insomniac as well? Which you would assume would happen if Sony were indeed to buy them, which is a rumor too. Like, I'm not going to link that because that's like one of those rumors that get tossed around in Reddits and stuff like that. So it doesn't make sense. But you all have heard it out. Now, I've linked these two stories. Sony is considering acquisition of development studios right now. On the same day this story breaks, Alan Wake publishing rights goes back to Remedy. So, and I linked this one too. So this is WCCF Tech, two the same places. Microsoft, over the course of the year, started acquiring game development studios to work on Xbox One and PC titles. Sony refrained from doing so, but it seems like the Japanese company is thinking about doing the same in light of changes coming to the video game industry. Speaking with Nikkei, Sony Interactive Entertainment president Jim Ryan revealed that Sony is considering the merger and acquisition of game development companies. With giants like Google entering the market with Stadia, Jim Ryan feels that content will become more important than ever. These are the content wars that I'm talking about, guys and girls. I've been mentioning this. Console wars are long over. It's all about the content wars, because these consoles are going to be so close in spec and power and this kind of stuff that it's all going to come down to content, because we're also getting to a point where, yes, I believe Sony is going to do streaming on a phone or whatever too, but who the hell is going to want to use Microsoft streaming service for that, even though I know Sony's going to be using Azure to run theirs, I guess, when Sony has all these better games that you can do the same thing with. So I feel like, Sony is much more better set up to get that. I think people would rather play these big bangers that Sony has, which I doubt they go day and date, by the way. But eventually some of them might go in there years later. which I still think Sony has a tremendous, 3-generation, 4-generation back catalog of games that they can put in there. Microsoft has 3 generations that they can put in there, I guess, but realistically, this generation, I wouldn't even count it. This is like the generation that the land that time forgot, right? There's nothing special about Xbox this generation. They've literally done nothing worthwhile. So he wants content. He believes it's going to be more important than ever. And he mentioned, obviously, as they already mentioned, Microsoft acquired some important studios, Obsidian Entertainment, Double Fine. Double Fine was an interesting one because they mentioned that Game Pass, right? Every time they interview somebody from one of these studios that Microsoft bought, they always mention Game Pass. So that to me tells me all I need to know about Microsoft when it comes to what they're doing in the future. And for me, I just think that says it all. I would prefer that, maybe they go about things a little bit differently for the gamer, right? For the players themselves instead of your service. And I think one plays into the other, but instead every move they make is for Game Pass, not for like the fans per se, right? Because I'll admit Game Pass is a tremendous value, but if all they're going to do is put in Halo, Forza, Gears, and then some double A's to flesh out the rest of what they have, that's not looking too good to me, that's not looking very good to me. So I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed in that. And, I hope that Microsoft kind of sees the light and sees that Sony is going about things a little bit differently. Now, this was a story that broke over the weekend, and you guys might have saw it, where Sony said they're going after hardcore gamers. And I feel like, hey, what's up, LG Nemesis? How's it going? And I feel like what they're doing is interesting, because what Sony is actually going out there doing is saying, hey, we're for the hardcore gamers. We love hardcore gaming, and we want to make sure that people have a home here on PlayStation 5. We love our console fans. We love the fact that they like big AAA games. In fact, and I read this on MNC yesterday on my channel when we went live, me, Mooch, and Sully. So this is a line from Sony themselves when they're talking about next generation. They're looking to work closely with big publishers, and this is what a spokesman for Sony said. They're going to continue to work with smaller independent studios, but Sony believes that big budget titles are the games that people buy consoles for, and as such, that's where Sony will concentrate its efforts. So this is their own exclusive projects as well, and will be a focal point on the PS5. So while Sony switches efforts to mostly these big AAA and quadruple A exclusives and quadruple A and AAA experiences from multiplats and getting locking time content and exclusive content, Microsoft is kind of going the other way, where they keep like focusing on a lot of these indie games and stuff like that. And I have a big problem with that. If you guys remember, even early on in this generation, I'm not a big indie guy. If you like it, hey, more power to you. I'm not going to tell you to dislike it. But all I can say is, from my standpoint, as someone who has played probably hundreds of indie games for 5, 10, 15 minutes a clip, because I can't really stand to play them for much longer than that, there's very few that have been worthwhile. I think Firewatch was one of them that I really liked and played and beat. I thought that was really good. I liked iDarb, was interesting because it was kind of like this multiplayer weird, reminded me kind of an Atari game. So I really enjoyed that. But just seeing sort of the way that Microsoft goes about these things really kind of upsets me as a longtime fan. And I can see other people starting to get more and more upset by this as well. Now, I understand if you're a huge Xbox fan and you going, well, like, who really cares? They're going to have new games. Anyway, and that's just, it is like, I get the damage control stuff. I get it. I get the way that people kind of think with this situation. It's unfortunate, but I do understand it. And, I hopefully that Phil, Alabambi says more crap from Crapgamer. Maybe, but let's see. CP Adams says, afternoon crap, hope you're doing well. Prodes X, hey, what's up? Let me see. Inside was good. Hey, I don't have a problem with Inside, but again, that's a game where people really could just buy it for $5. Let's see, who else we got? Listen, Paige says, crap, you have the right to your opinion. If other games can't accept feedback, then that sucks for them. An opinion. I got to get to play now from the 360 and Xbox One. Yeah, listen, Xbox isn't going anywhere. They're going to continue to do things. very, very well for a long time, they're going to continue to like be a company, and Xbox is going to continue to sell a lot of subscriptions and stuff like that. I just want Microsoft to be the Microsoft and Xbox that I more or less am used to, and I feel like when Phil Spencer kind of talks now, I don't trust him, and I know that that's a thing. Like I feel like there's a subsect of Xbox fans that kind of put Phil on this creepy pedestal, and like that's a little bit weird to me. I just really, I don't think he's a bad guy, but I just think that he's a little bit of a huckster, and I know I kind of called him that in the past, but he does really seem a little bit like a huckster to me. Like when he talks to stuff like some of this stuff that comes out like this, and just comes out of the blue, and it doesn't really make any sense to me. So that's a little bit of a a bit of a surprise. Like why would you give up rights to a single player IP when your fans have been asking for a sequel to this game? The company themselves have been asking for a sequel to the game. And, why wouldn't you listen to the fans and try to, get the fans something that they want for a change? Like that would really help out and go a long way in helping people feel a certain way about, Microsoft and Xbox. Instead, as a fan, I just feel like they don't really give a crap. They don't care one way or the other. And they just more or less want to fill their quota with Game Pass and stuff like that. If you guys are just joining me, please like this video, share it out. I really would appreciate that. If you are just joining me and you're wondering, hey, what's all the hubbub? So Microsoft, while not owning the IP to Alan Wake, they did in fact own the publishing rights to it. And so what they did was, they sold those publishing rights back to Remedy. And now Remedy has been rumored to be bought by Sony. At the very least, some kind of collaborations there. So I think even if Sony doesn't buy Remedy, I still think we're going to see Alan Wake on the PlayStation 4, right? I think that makes a lot of sense as we go over 300 people. Let's get over 100 likes, shall we? Let's see what we can do. I would really appreciate it. The thing for me is this. I feel like what Sony does is actually more in tune with what Remedy does. They like those single player aspects and stuff like that. And I think it would make a lot of sense for them to sort of do Alan Wake thing, right? So I think that at the very least, we're going to see an Alan Wake remaster, which I actually would love. I think that would make a lot of sense. And then if there's interest or it does well, I think that what we'd see is, an Alan Wake 2 that would possibly be multi-platform or, PlayStation exclusive or some kind of time deal or whatever there. So yeah, that is a little bit unfortunate. The thing is this too, right? Let's say Alan Wake 2 is a thing. I would almost bet that we could see an Alan Wake 2 on PlayStation before we get this rumored RPG from Obsidian that's an Xbox exclusive, right? Because I just feel like, they have their engine ready to go, and it's like a next-gen engine already, and they could easily put together an Alan Wake 2, and that would be probably something they could do in a few years. Just look at what they've been able to accomplish with Control versus Quantum Break. So Quantum Break, it took 5 years to come out. Control only took 3 years to make. So they have it down to where they can do this a little bit better. I gotta say, I'm completely disappointed. You know what? I get it that stuff happens or whatever. Just to me, this is just a generation that just cannot end fast enough as an Xbox fan. I can't really help it. It's one of those things that I've been completely upset this entire like the last couple years, more so than the rest. But I just can't believe that Microsoft has kind of fallen to the wayside the way that they have with their single player things, right? Like I understand completely that that things happen and there's not going to be a lot of exclusives going forward, right? Microsoft wants their games on in Game Pass, and so a lot of these teams are AA, and that's fine because people think I'm obsessed with this term AA or AAA, and I just think that AAA games are more along the reasons why we buy these big, powerful machines, right? So what's the point in having an Xbox One X if we don't have something that can really show it off? And I think that's where the AAA comes in, okay? And unfortunately, I think that's a problem. So hopefully, we can get some kind of idea that we're going to actually get some AAA games, because I said the other day, when was the last time you even heard Phil Spencer mention the term AAA, right? Like, I can't really think of a time when he said, hey, big AAA exclusive. Like, he doesn't really talk like that. And so as a gamer, it's kind of hard to really take it seriously that they've changed or that they're going to start doing something different. I feel like if they really were going to do something different, why haven't they already started? And I know people go, well, it takes longer than a year, crap. And I get that argument too. But the main problem that I have is, well, if those studios take longer than a year, what happened to the 2.5 years ago where Phil Spencer said, we just signed some deals, which you can Google that. He said it. I didn't make it up. Where are the games that he just signed exclusive for that would take 2 to 3 years to come out, but they weren't going to show it until they were ready? I would love to know. I mean, is this like the Battletoads deal? Like, is that one of the ones? Is it Ori? If so, then that's piss poor deals, because your fans want some AAA games. And while those games might be okay, I think fans really want like these big blockbuster games that show off your console. Why is it that we don't get the realistic games or big budget games unless it's Gears or Forza or Halo? That's something that I don't understand. Microsoft doesn't take a chance on games, and that's unfortunate. And, excuse me, just took a sip of a Diet Pepsi. I love that stuff. So yeah, probably not good. Hey, we got over 300 watching. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. Hey, Next Doc says, this is the worst generation for a gaming product I own, and I have no faith that things will get better next gen. That's my problem, okay? I really do think that that what we're seeing is the decline of Xbox as a platform, like a console, and more of the rise of the services only. What's what? You probably didn't think I'd read this. He says, Control is taking closer to 4 years. You're literally making up stuff now. They got the publishing rights right now, and you think they will release Alan Wake on PS4 before Obsidian? Yeah, I think Obsidian is just now starting to. They've got a few people out, probably doing a little bit of R&D, and I don't see how Control is taking closer to 4 years, since if you look at the facts, when exactly did Quantum Break release? 2016. We're in 2019. I don't know what 3 years is to you, but if you go 16, 17, 18, 19, that's 3 years, son. That, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm making stuff up when it's literally 3 years. It's coming out this August. So literally 3 years, my friend. That's not making stuff up. You can just go Google that. Quantum Break came out in 2016 on Xbox One. And the publishing rights did just now go back, but that's not to say that there's not Alan Wake stuff that they have on the back burner, or that they couldn't get a new Alan Wake out in 3 years, where Obsidian allegedly is starting a new RPG that could come out when? 4 or 5 years from now? Like, I just think that it would be, a situation like that. So Lone Star says, I'm with you, crap. As an Xbox fan, it feels Microsoft just flat out gave up. They lost so bad, they're shifting the narrative to casuals and leaving us. This has been something that I've been worried about as too. The casuals, that supposedly these 2 billion gamers or whatever, but you don't hear them talk about the hardcore anymore, which I feel is a little bit weird. Like the hardcore, the ones that like trash talk each other on Xbox Live and play Call of Duties and your Halos and your Gears, and now it's like, play nice, you can't say anything, can't talk smack online on Xbox Live. It used to be like where the hardcore games would play, and now it's like even Halo is rated T now. So hold on, DJ Sugar Pop says AAA is a bogus word. Red Dead Redemption 2 costs about $350 to make, and you mean $350 million to make, and The Witcher 3 cost $80 million, and they're both AAA. So I don't believe there's such a thing as called AAA. No, there is. It's what it is studio size, scope of your game, I guess polish, as well as the advertisement of the game. Okay, so Red Dead Redemption is something that's totally out of the stratosphere, like Grand Theft Auto, right? But usually you can think of something that's going to cost 50, 80, $100 million, like a movie, okay, like a big budget movie, something that costs like that much to make, an Avengers movie or whatever, 150 million. That's a big AAA thing. There's like the AA stuff and the indie stuff, and there is definitely a difference there. So it really does matter. Look at Recore. That's a $40 game. There's not a lot of polish there. You know, a lot of problems. State of Decay, another AA game. Not a lot of polish there. A lot of problems. Crackdown 3. I don't even look at Crackdown 3 as AAA, to be honest with you, even though they charge $60 for it. But it's not polished. A lot of problems there. I'm seeing a running theme here with Xbox games that aren't called Halo, Gears, or Forza, right? You're catching my drift? Next doc says Phil is leading Xbox into the PG era of Xbox, toning down the gore and Gears. Halo 5 was rated T and a bunch of cartoony games. I agree 100%. Secret Sauce is overrated, says Witcher 3 budget was $35 million, not $8 million. It's a bogus game to compare the other games to, since they pay below minimum wage and they're early entry-level developers, since it's in Poland. Well, here, no. Secret Sauce. I believe that The Witcher 3 was $80 million once you took into account the marketing, which also goes into account. You have to look at it this way. What games does Microsoft market that they have, right? Mostly what they do is they market games like Halo, Gears, and Forza, right? They don't market they didn't market Crackdown 3. They didn't market well, at least that I saw, they don't market much of anything, you know, but yeah, so that also goes into play, like the marketing budget. Listen, Days Gone, whether you like that game or not, they marketed that as a big AAA exclusive game, and they're going to get a sequel. They're already like gearing up to make a sequel to that. That's something us Xbox fans don't know the feeling to. Look, Horizon Zero Dawn, that's going to get a sequel. God of War is going to get a sequel. Spider-Man's going to get a sequel. We's literally, the only sequel game we've got this entire generation is freaking Ori. And, you know, and I think that game's fine, but it's like a 2D platformer. So, you know, it does leave you a little bit frustrated as an Xbox, or at least me anyway. Like, I think those games are fine, but I just think that, you know, they aren't exactly what most of us think of when we buy a big console that's supposed to be the most powerful console ever, right? That's a bit of a problem in my opinion. I just feel like Microsoft kind of screw us over a little bit by selling us something and then relying totally on multiplats and things like that to make up the ends meet. And a lot of people will go, well, we mostly just play multiplats, and I kind of agree with that a little bit. But I think that the reason why we buy these consoles is to be able to play the differences, right? So the whole reason we buy different consoles, right? Like I would assume, right, is to play the exclusive content. The differences between these games or these consoles are usually the games. And so that's exactly how I look at it. You know, I buy a Nintendo platform for those weird Nintendo games, and obviously the Switch is portable, even though I use it mostly just for, you know, I use it as a console as well. But for me, I like those Nintendo games. They're different. They're single player. They're cool. You know, when it comes to Sony, I buy a Sony PlayStation consoles. Well, now it's for VR and their exclusives, but you know, Uncharted's, the God of Wars, the Until Dawn's, the Last of Us, all like they're gonna have big AAA exclusives, and that's just something that I'm gonna continue to buy their platform to. You know, Xbox was always, you know, their big bangers, but I expected them to come out with stuff to complement the Gears, Forza, and Halos. And, you know, it used to be Fable, and now it looks like Fable will be a thing again, but you still need something to complement that. How can you go a whole generation with no Fable and you haven't had anything to replace it or complement your other games? That's a bit of a problem for me, you know, and I speak out against it. Some people don't like it. I get it. You know, they get pissed off or whatever. I mean, that happens. For me personally, I just feel like if you look at what Microsoft has done, like score-wise, they haven't really had anything amazing. Hold on, I'm going to see some questions here. Taco B says, "Crap, what are your expectations for VR on the PS5?" They're going to fully support VR. So I'm very excited by the prospect of VR on PS5. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's obviously going to be something that's kind of niche, but I still think, you know, we're going to see some really cool stuff from them on that front. I would love to see some really great, like fully immersive VR stuff from them, because I think that's exactly what we're going to be getting eventually. And I'm looking, you know, I'm looking to kind of see that as the future or whatever. Nintendo Switches, let's see, when Sony says hardcore gamers, I think the competitive games like fighting games and shooters like Call of Duty, which means Sony is aiming at the esports market. No, Hot Man, look at what they're talking about. They're talking about their narrative-driven games. They even mentioned that the narrative-driven games, right? That's what they're talking about. Why9 Power says on Twitter, the people that hate Xbox consoles are happy that Phil announces the end of exclusives by focusing on PC. Well, here's the thing. You see a little bit of hypocrisy. I'm not dumb, right? So when the console wars were a thing for so long, so when Xbox had something, and Alan Wake was a really cool product, right? Just like Gears. I remember years ago, Gears of War was rumored to go to PlayStation, and PlayStation fans were like all about it. Okay. Then it turned out to be just a rumor, and Microsoft bought the IP, and everything went back to normal. But like Alan Wake is also one of these games where PlayStation fans on various sites and stuff like that have been asking for an Alan Wake for a long time. And so that's exactly sort of what we're getting, and it's really unfortunate. It's really kind of sad to see that Microsoft hasn't been able to do something better. Dual Purpose says, I kind of don't think Remedy is making anything PS5 exclusive. I think they will make Alan Wake 2, but it'll be multi-plat, but I don't know. Hey, even better, if they do make it, guess what, though? If they make it and it's multi-plat, that's still a game that could have been exclusive to Xbox. That's the way to look at it, you know? That's the way I would look at it anyway. No, dude, hey, Dogs Had Gaming. He says it's not going to be an exclusive. Look at the two articles. It's long rumored that Microsoft or that Sony is looking to buy Remedy. And since they're a single-player studio that makes single-player narrative-driven games, and Sony is looking for more of that, it makes a lot of sense. Yoshida was over there visiting that studio not long ago. So it's not. I basically look at what I just said. Look at the name of it. It could be if Sony buys Remedy, which is indicating that it's a rumor. I also put it both the articles in the description. There's not much more I can say to it. Like, everybody's going to complain about something, but this is probably one of the least clickbaity videos I can do. The title is what it is. Sony is literally, according to them, looking to buy new studios, and it's rumored that Remedy is one of them. So, LG Nemesis says, I think the rumor about PlayStation buy Remedy is true, and there have been rumors and rumors and rumors about Sony buying Remedy, and then they come out of nowhere and buy rights to Alan Wake. Exactly. Like, how many times do you guys come here or hear me say on a podcast, I don't believe in coincidence, right? There's no such thing as coincidence. So Sony's been rumored to buy Remedy, and now Remedy get back their IP. Think about this. Before Microsoft could buy Double Fine, they had to buy the publishing rights to Psychonauts 2 because that game was due to be published on PS4 as well. Now Microsoft's still going to publish it on PS4. So I'm just saying, the real Witsky says the saddest part of this gen is that Xbox faithfuls look to their savior Phil Spencer to revive Xbox, and none of them know he's a puppet for Satya Nadal's service app vision. Well, listen, Microsoft is a services situation, right? They are a services and software company. They don't care about doing exclusive stuff. I never ever would have thought that we would have gotten Windows on like a on an Apple phone or an Apple, you know what I mean? And here we are, Linux running Windows as well or whatever. Okay. So the fact that we are getting that blows my mind, and it's just weird for me. But it's pretty clear when you hear Microsoft, and listen, what did Matt Booty say right after E3 when they asked him about putting Gears or something on PlayStation? He said it's up. He can't speak for Sony. It's up to Sony, and I feel like that says it all. That says it all. Phil Spencer, the same thing. He doesn't outright say, no, we're not going to put our games on PlayStation. He never says that. He even says that we're a publisher, one of the biggest publishers for Nintendo. I mean, what does that tell you? What do we got to hear, man? Like, Xbox fans were asking for a Banjo-Kazooie game, and what happens? Banjo-Kazooie ends up going to the Switch, and now there's a ratings board leak that Banjo-Kazooie is actually coming to the Switch, like a full game. So what's going to happen at that particular point, right? Like, people are going to see that Banjo-Kazooie is going to go to the Switch, and it might be a full Banjo-Kazooie game. Now, it might just be a remake of the first game or something, But isn't that more than what we've gotten on the Xbox One, despite the fact that we keep asking for this stuff? Like at some point, Xbox fans got to kind of wake up a bit and expect more from a company and not just go, oh, well, this person's blindly hating on Xbox. Let me unsubscribe to him or not or tune him out. Just because I'm the messenger kind of telling you, hey, this is what's going on. And then people get pissed off because I get it right now. People are super pissed off at me because I've been poking the bee's nest a bit on Twitter and stuff. But for me, it's just like this moment where you get slapped over and over again keeps presenting itself. And it seems like Microsoft just are not listening to what the fans are asking for. And that to me is completely irresponsible. And they're kind of tone deaf to what we want as fans. And I feel like that kind of sucks. And I know some of you guys are going to disagree with me, and that sucks too. I'm sorry. I do what I can to kind of pay attention and listen to you guys as well. I truly am sorry that that some of you guys just get so pissed off at some of the things that I say that you would rather go someplace else and hear something else that's maybe not truthful or to kind of pacify you, as opposed to more or less like the truth or whatever. So, I do think that Microsoft is going to come out with some games. And look, not all hope is lost. You know what I mean? I think that there's plenty of hope if you're really like a Game Pass services person, man, you're in hog heaven with Xbox. Like I envy the person that can just be like, man, I love the services. They're amazing. They're great or whatever. I just really envy the person that's like that because I feel like, those people are just kind of happy with whatever. Whereas me personally, that's not me. I'm not exactly happy like that. I'm more or less, I like a good mixture of stuff. And it seems like Microsoft is only going in one direction. So, hey, hit the like button, guys. We're closing in on 100 likes. I would love to get over 100 likes. I would appreciate it. Hold on. Das Me C says Xbox is over in console. I think what you're talking about is the same thing that I've been saying. So when you guys hear Microsoft mention Xbox, it's not the box itself anymore. It's PC and xCloud mostly to them. So that's a bit of a bad situation. The DJ Sugar Pop says, also, how else did Remedy get the money to buy the publishing rights? Sony? Well, Remedy has made a little bit of money off of some of their stuff. So Microsoft might even have given them the rights back. I don't know. Like, think about this. Microsoft owned the developer Twisted Pixel, right? They made stuff like The Maw, Splosion Man, Missplosion Man. They made Loco Cycle, which was a launch title for the Xbox One, right? They were a smaller, like AA type studio. Phil Spencer let them go, right? Remember when he took over, he let them go. Now they're an indie studio again, right? When he closed down a bunch of studios, remember, and he let them go, and he also owned the Toy Soldiers IP. You guys know the Toy Soldiers games, right? So he like Microsoft and Xbox owned the Toy Soldiers IP, and he let that IP go as well. And he also let the IP go. What the heck was it? It's a damn game that you could play. They released it last gen on 360 and Vista. Used to be able to do crossplay, but everybody abandoned it because the PC users had a huge advantage over the Xbox 360 advantage. Some of you guys might remember this. So yeah, I don't remember the game right offhand, but maybe you guys will. Next Doc says, I'm checking out of supporting Xbox. I'm not renewing my gold. Been waiting 10 years for this Fable out of touch Xbox executives. I'm agreeing 100%. Well, Shadowrun, thank you, Nameless. Shadowrun, yeah, that's the game. So Phil Spencer let that IP kind of go too, loaned it out so they can make games for it on PC. So let's see. Mahdi Rayhanian says Xbox died when Game Pass launched on PC. I think that's one of the things also, right? Like if you look at it, they seem to put way more focus on on stuff on PC or whatever than what they have in the past. It's like they're almost obsessed with like putting their stuff on PC as opposed to Xbox or whatever. So for me personally, I think I'm riding out this generation with my Xbox One X, but it's like I'm slowly, and I'm not the only one, right? I'm not the only one, but I'm starting to see more and more people go, I'm playing PS4 a little bit more. Hey, crap. Are you thinking about picking this game up on PS4 instead of Xbox One? And I got to be honest, I am. I'm thinking about picking up more and more games on PS4 for the simple fact that I'm kind of maybe transitioning over that way. PS5 sounds like it's going to be really, really good. I have a adapters that I'll probably be able to use. I have a little thing is I've spiked my game count on PS4 as well recently. So I know a lot of you don't realize this, but I have 800 and I think 25 games on Xbox One. But I recently bought a USB uh, external hard drive, a 2 terabyte for my PlayStation 4 as well, and I have like 220 games on PS4 as well. So my game collection on PS4 is growing, and I've been playing. Like Sony does flash sales all the time. So right now, like a lot of people ask me, "Hey, crap, is it worth it to pick up a PS4 right now, even though the PS5 is coming next year?" Listen, you can pick up a PS4 extremely cheap for like 199 bucks most of the time. You don't need a Pro or any of that. Get a PS4 Slim, play God of War, Uncharted 4, Until Dawn, Ratchet and Clank. I mean, there's so many great, amazing exclusives that you can play, and then get yourself ready for the PS5. And your games are going to carry over to the PS5 anyway. They do so many of these flash sales, right? This is where I pick up a lot of the games now. They sell them for like $5 a piece. Like, holy crap. It's insane. So yeah, it's one of those things kind of like there's a ton of the stuff that's hey, it's a transition where I'm playing a little bit more on PS4, but I'm still going to do if there's something positive that happens on Xbox, I'm still going to cover it. Xbox though continues to let me down, and I'm not the only one. You'll probably see some other people or influencers do the same thing. So, Justin says Microsoft doesn't care about us fans. Hold on, let me see. Phil Spencer might need to be replaced. Just saying, well, if it's the CEO pushing it, then I think that's a tougher problem to get there. So LG Nemesis says this may be a reach, but I think that they are purposely killing the Xbox console and trying to move people over to PC. And then once they get everybody on PC, they'll kill the console. Well, this could be an interesting thing, right? Because Phil keeps saying we don't care about it. I did a video last night. You guys can check it out. It's like, thanks, Phil Spencer. You sold me on a PlayStation 5 at launch. And I go over my feelings exactly why I'm going to get a PS5 at launch. I say, you know what? I'm not saying I'm not going to get a Scarlet ever, but I'm saying thanks to Phil Spencer's own words, where he's out there saying, we don't even care if you buy a Xbox Scarlet. We don't care about console sales because we don't make money that way. He's basically only saying we only care about the ways that we make money, and we make money through software and services. That doesn't make sense to me because if you sell 100 million consoles, you can sell more software and more services. So he's so beyond console at this point that it's not even funny. And I believe you're right. LG Nemesis, not only that, I used to podcast with a guy named Worrywart who used to say the same thing. They're trying to transition us over to PC so that they can stop creating consoles. And the only reason why I think we're getting a console now, to be 100% honest with you, and this is just my opinion, by the way, don't go Crapgamer says this as 100% fact. This is my opinion. The only reason why we're still getting a console is because I believe they're still making something like $2.5 billion annually off of our Xbox Live Gold subscription. But maybe they're trying to even wean us off that, right? With the Ultimate and with the piss poor games that we get for Xbox Live Gold. I feel like those are terrible lately. And the only reason why we're getting these games at all is because Microsoft continues to put better games into Game Pass than what we're getting. So, yeah, that's a bit unfortunate to me. Hold on. Paige says, crap, how well do you think the Xbox will do next gen with all studios they have purchased? Will Xbox have a surprise for us at E3 2020? Why didn't they get GTA 6 for exclusive before PlayStation? So you guys might see some of the rumors, that GTA 6 is going to be an exclusive to next gen. I've heard that too. I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of time content that Sony's getting. But I think Microsoft, here's the thing. They'll do okay. I don't think they're going to sell a lot of consoles, but they'll do okay money-wise and like revenue-wise. And I think next E3, the big surprise will be Forza Motorsport 8 as a launch title for the Scarlet. So we'll get Halo Infinite and Scarlet. as launch titles. They'll probably finally show off Fable and expect that to be a megaton. But since that's like the worst kept secret ever, I don't think that's going to be a megaton that they think. It's just like, finally you show it to us. So the bad part about them not showing Fable and us knowing that Fable's coming is they can underwhelm us with the trailer. If it's just some kind of teaser and not something great, like that would have been good this year or last year, right? But next year, if they show something that is cheesy or not good, then it could underwhelm people and get people pissed off. So I feel like that could be a real thing that happens as well. So, but I do think, like, I think that that Ninja Theory is one of the ones closer to having a game out. What that game is, I don't know. The Initiative, supposedly those are two smaller developers making smaller projects. That's their own words. So what are they making? I don't know. If you ask Mooch, he thinks they're making like an MMO RPG type of game, like something in that vein. I don't know for sure though. So, LG Nemesis says next gen is already reminding me of 2013 all over again, and Sony making right moves off of Xbox mess ups. Exactly right. Exactly right. So Microsoft, very, very smart to kind of rebound from the issues that they suffered at the beginning of last gen, and now they're kind of making these issues again, like the worst possible ones. Like, this isn't like 2005 anymore. Okay, social media is like make or break. Like, you got to look good on social media, and Microsoft right now, Alan Wake is trending and everybody's making fun of Xbox in 2019. That's a problem. Hold on. Buy games because you're interested into the game, not because of a score. Yeah, that's right. T Gameplay says, I'm tired of these cartoony Unreal Engine 4 games Microsoft keeps pushing. I agree. Itty Par says Microsoft cares about services over consoles because many third world nations can't afford consoles, can still give Microsoft money by gaming on cloud and PC services. Well, here's the thing with that, right? A lot of these third world countries don't have good enough internet for streaming and stuff like that either. So it's really kind of a catch-22. So Mega Cloud, you bring up a good question. He says, crap, you didn't want a roadmap. Remember when you said that announcing games too early was a bad thing? Listen, I think announcing a game 5 years too early is a bad thing, but announcing it 2 years too early, 2 years out, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And the way Microsoft has acted this generation, you've got to announce things early, right? We deserve, like, Microsoft is in a bad position where they haven't had anything all generation, and most people think they gave up. So why not announce something, right? That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Peter Boyle says, it looks like I'm getting a PS5. I've been Xbox for years. Yeah, a lot of people are going to do that as well. I see we got Enrique from Brap. He says Sony didn't even show up at E3, and they have been driving the headlines in ways that are positive for them. That's the thing I don't understand, Enrique, is how the hell does Sony manage to steal thunder, and they don't even show up for stuff, and Xbox completely can lose E3 with nobody to lose it to? How do you lose when there's no competition there? Like, I don't understand that at all, right? Like, that just blows my mind that Microsoft was able to sort of lose E3 and lose big, right? Like, Sony was like the third most popular publisher at E3, and they weren't even there. So yeah, that was a little bit kind of shocking. And to see that Sony was trending a lot during E3 as well was a little bit shocking as well. So, that's a little bit unfortunate. That's weird how that happens. Because I feel like Microsoft has a lot going for themselves, but their marketing has been piss poor. And it seems like unless it's something specifically for Game Pass, they don't care. And even their latest studio acquisitions just scream Game Pass. Like, I wouldn't even have announced that Double Fine purchase at E3. I would have done that at like XO or something, unless they have something else planned for XO announcement. Like, that's a true indie studio that hasn't had a AAA game since Brutal Legend in like 2009 or 10 or whenever that came out. So Sony's focused. This is my point, Enrique. Sony is 100% focused on their hardcore gamers, and people will go, well, didn't they say console game is niche? They said it, but they want that niche. They think there's 300 million, right? They think there's billions of gamers, but they think there's 300 million hardcore, and they want all 300 million. So, and they say it themselves, and I read it and I saved it, that the company believes, Sony believes, that big budget titles are the games that people buy consoles for. And as such, that's where Sony will concentrate its efforts. This line of thinking applies to their own exclusive projects, which will also be a focal point of PS5. So they know that people buy these new consoles, or buy these consoles for these big budget AAA games, right? Which is kind of directly against how the PlayStation 4 launched. But now that they see that people are buying the PlayStation 4 over Xbox because of these type of games, and it makes you kind of see exactly what's going on in the gaming industry, right? Like, Sony gets it, Microsoft doesn't get it, and it is a bit unfortunate because I feel like, as fans, we kind of get like pissed on by Microsoft. I just feel like they don't particularly care as much as I wish they would. They don't even, nobody even makes an announcement. You know what I mean? Like, where is Phil on this? I'm sure Phil will congratulate I'm sure Phil will congratulate Sony when if they buy it. Oh, here we go. Warrior Ward. There's my man. He's in there. He says everyone wanted Alan Wake 2 last year. Now, one and done. Beat your nuts. I enjoy nuts. Warrior Ward. Listen, you're 100% accurate, right? Alan Wake 2, we all wanted it. We all begged for it. The studio, they're like, we would love to make Alan Wake 2. It's up to Microsoft. And now all of a sudden, Alan Wake is overrated. I actually seen someone say that. Now, I haven't heard from this person again on Twitter. He goes, Alan Wake was overrated. The reviews weren't good. I'm like, dude, Alan Wake got an 83 Metacritic for a brand new IP. That's insanely good, right? When has Microsoft even sniffed an 83? Hell, I think Halo and Gears only got slightly better than 83s this gen, right? So Microsoft couldn't even sniff an 83 with a new IP. So the fact that they just gave one up so quickly just is really, really damning. Enrique says, Sony is a gaming company. Microsoft is not. Xbox has to fit within Microsoft's structure as a service-based company. That's true, sadly. TD Bank says, console gaming is niche. The casuals are where the money's at. The difference is Sony respects what brought them to the dance, console gamers. Yeah, well, here's the thing. You might be right partially, right? So Microsoft is chasing that casual market, but the casuals aren't spending big bucks. They're playing these free games on their phone and Candy Crush and this kind of stuff, Farmville, whatever. So they're not actually out there playing these big games that Microsoft envisions them. Oh, play the big AAA console experience on your phone, the power of the cloud, right? Like, that sounds good. But at the end of the day, like the casuals, they aren't out there playing these games on their phones. They don't want to play those type of games. At least I believe. Yes, when I say nobody wants to play it, ironically, I'm not meaning like the entirety of the world. I'm meaning the majority aren't going to want to play it. Like, nobody's going to play The Witcher 3. There might be somebody, but for the most part, people aren't going to be playing The Witcher 3 on their lunch breaks, on their phone. Like, I just don't see it happening. That's what I mean when I say that. So clearly, if I say nobody, or you hear somebody go, Xbox has no games, they're not literally saying Xbox has no games. I have 800 and something, right? What they're meaning is Microsoft really doesn't have, the Xbox doesn't have like big AAA games, like exclusives. And that point is pretty factual. I know it sucks. It hurts, when you hear that. So for me anyway, because I've been fully onto Xbox this entire generation, and it just feels bad that now it seems like it's over. Brap says, hold on, that was a good comment. Where was it? I am becoming frustrated now. I upgraded to an X, but the focus seems to be growing services opposed to focus of new AAA exclusives. Enrique, you're right. And then what frustrates me is the people that want to say, oh, well, what's AA or what's AAA? Like, give me the meaning of it. And it's like, damn it. The meaning is go play Recore or State of Decay 2. That's a AA. Go play Gears or Halo. Those are AAA, right? God of War, Spider-Man, AAA. Like, there's a big difference. They're easy. It's easy to tell. The polish, they market these games. The scope. It's super easy to tell what the difference. The Witcher, AAA. I'm not saying that these games can't have issues, but it's easy to tell what a AAA game is. Secret Sauce is overrated. Says Sunset Overdrive and Titanfall got over 80. Yes. And then what did Microsoft proceed to do with Sunset Overdrive and Titanfall? Sunset Overdrive, I believe, got an 83 as well. Microsoft said, we don't care. We're not making a sequel. Titanfall, Microsoft probably could have locked up. They chose not to. Boom, what happens now? We don't even get Titanfall anymore. Next doc says, same as Sunset Overdrive, Rise, Son of Rome, Insomniac wanted to make it. So did Crytek, but Phil will not greenlight sequels unless they sell like Halo, Gears, and Forza. Next doc. Here's the thing. You're 100% right. Ding, ding, ding. What's says, wasn't Quantum Break above 83? Lord, no. Quantum Break, I think, was a 72 or 73. You know? Exactly. Mobile gamers do not pay to play. They play like these little games. Carlos Torres says, Sony, give me Alan Wake 2 because Xbox don't care. Exactly. Phil Spencer, you sold me on a PS5. Hey, everybody hit that like button. I would appreciate it. Man, this kind of pisses me off. You know, that what we're seeing is such the downfall of single player games on Xbox. And as a fan, it really does kind of, okay, excuse me. So Quantum Break scored a 77, on Metacritic, which is not terrible, I guess. But again, it's not exactly an amazing thing. If you look at it, though, and for their new IP, that's probably one of their bigger ones. So they did have Quantum Break, and they did have an 83 rated Sunset Overdrive. So I do think that those are decently scored. But at the same time, man, Quantum Break came out in 2016, and Sunset Overdrive came out in 2014, and we've got no sequels, and we'll never get a sequel to those games, right? Like, wouldn't it be ironic? Sony might buy Insomniac and Remedy, and then a Sunset Overdrive sequel would be exclusive to PlayStation, and a Alan Wake sequel would be exclusive to PlayStation as well. That would be super ironic, in my opinion. Now, the thing that kind of bugs me as well is the people that are acting like Alan Wake wasn't nothing, or that Remedy wasn't nothing. Man, we all wanted Microsoft. Remedy was one of the ones we wanted Microsoft to buy whenever you hear people talking about it. So, Brap says, crap, Microsoft should have made a AAA exclusive for the X, utilizing the power of the box. They bragged enough about the power of the X. I agree. Griever says, Phil Spencer doesn't have a clue about what gaming and being a gamer really means. I agree. Gunstar says, judge Microsoft pedigree when their studios release multi-plat games over the next few years. Then we can see what we will get long term. Well, Gunstar, here's the thing. I don't know, right? Like Outer Worlds, I feel like that game will probably score somewhere in the 70s, but it's not going to take full advantage of the X or anything like that. Wasteland 3, Bard's Tale 4, We Happy Few. Like these games aren't blowing away people. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see it. Like, to me, it's just a lot of these studios are kind of mediocre. Like I said, and this, I 100% mean this. If Sony somehow pulls off a miracle and buys Remedy and Insomniac, those two studio purchases in values all of the ones that Microsoft bought, because those two alone, in my opinion, would pretty much be better than most of the ones that Microsoft got. I think Playground Games is a huge get, and Ninja Theory was huge. But outside of that, I'm not seeing a whole lot from Microsoft that's on that level of Insomniac or even Remedy, in terms of quality. So, yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. Hold on, let's see. I saw some other ones. Wasteland 3, more like Snoreland 3. Yeah, dude, like, I don't know if you've ever played Wasteland. I have Wasteland 2, but that game is so bad. Benny Howard says, crap, whatever happened to you unblocking people? My friend is still blocked. What's your friend's name, and which platform are you talking about blocking? Because I have unblocked a lot, but I literally must have had 1,000 of people blocked on Twitter. So you have to give me his name, and I can see if I can do it. Cheeks the Freak says, Phil is making the Scarlet the world's most useless console. You're not wrong. Carlos Torres says, I feel crap. I've been there since the beginning. I defend them, and maybe me look like a fool when they didn't show Fable. That was it. Well, here's the thing. We know that they're making Fable. Why hold off and get more hype on it, right? Like, more people are going to be upset next year if they show something and it's lackluster. So that puts more pressure on them to do it. Yeah, so like next year, they're going to have to bring it all, because Sony's going to be back, in my opinion, at E3, and Sony's going to bring, a big amount of games. Like, I don't know the new IP that they're going to bring, but they have a new San Diego studio that supposedly is doing a new Uncharted with ex-Naughty Dog employees. So you can almost look at it as like a Naughty Dog 2.0. They're gonna have I saw the harmonica and I was like, hey, might as well do it. They're gonna do a God of War 2 and a Horizon Zero Dawn 2 and a Spider-Man 2, and they're gonna have new IP as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the PlayStation 5 launches with versions of Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima could be a launch title as well. Carlos Acosta, this is a good question. Which everybody, please hit the like button. Maybe we can get up to 150 by the time I end this. Carlos says it is a weird question. If you can go back in time and fix Microsoft problems, what are the problems that you can fix? Well, I think the main problem that I would fix would be you had to release the Xbox One without it being called the Xbox One, and it needed a different design, and they needed not to talk about TV, and it needed to have no Connect, and they needed to have a focus on games and no DRM and all that kind of stuff, right? You had the stranglehold with the 360. I understand that the PS3 caught up at the end of the generation, but you had publishers like Ubisoft and EA backing you right from the start saying, hey, Xbox is going to win. And they were picking Xbox to win this generation. So when you screwed over those publishers and the people that believed in you and the fans and everybody abandoned you, I think the same thing might happen next generation, where those are that and I've heard other people say this, and I've said it, and Mooch has said it, but Microsoft picked the worst generations to flub, right? So Sony screwed up with the PS3 generation, but it didn't matter because we were all still buying physical discs for the most part, right? So now everybody is buying digital, and you're going to be able to take all your stuff over with you to next gen. So whatever you have digitally on PS4 or Xbox One, you can take over to the next consoles, including your peripherals. So that screws Microsoft over because I don't feel like people are going to leave their entire ecosystem and all their games and friends, the 100 million plus people that are on PS4, and go to Xbox. And why would they, right? What has Microsoft done to prove that they can make quality games, quality exclusives that people want? There's not a single game on Xbox One this entire generation where I said that's a game changer. That's a reason to buy an Xbox. Like when you think about it, maybe Forza Horizon is the closest thing you can think of. And when a racing game is the only game you can think of as being a reason to own a Xbox One, that's a real big problem. It's a huge problem. Let's see. Hotman966 says, what's strange to me is how Sony made Phil Spencer work as a marketing agent for them somehow. Double agent, man. Like Phil would be like, you can game on what you want. It's great. You can game on what you want. I'm Phil Spencer. Buy your games where you want, when you want, play them wherever you want. Like I never thought that was a big need. Like, here's the thing. If you're a Sony gamer, if you're in the know, like maybe you guys didn't know this, okay? I have a PlayStation Vita, believe it or not, I'm one of the 10 people that own that. So if you own a PlayStation Vita, well, I'll check into that, Benny Howard. J Love, you say. Yeah, I've been trying to unblock more and more people. I had a lot of people blocked. I'm slowly unblocking everybody and just trying to be as friendly with everybody as I can. So what I'm saying is Phil Spencer goes out there and promises, play your games wherever you want, whenever you want. Sony's been doing that this entire generation. The problem is less than 1% are actually using remote play, or like that streaming stuff is extremely, nobody's really using it. So the fact that Microsoft is kind of pimping that out now, just like Play Anywhere, and I brought this up when Play Anywhere came out, and now I look like a genius, right? So I said Play Anywhere, Microsoft thinks is going to be this big deal. Big publishers aren't going to use it. Nobody that plays on a PC hardcore is going to go and play on Xbox, and nobody that plays on Xbox is probably going to play on PC. Like, there's not going to be a lot of crossover. So what happens 2 years later, Microsoft admits there's not a lot of crossover there. Like, people play on Xbox that buy it on Xbox, people play on PC that buy it on PC. So there's no crossover. It was really pointless, and nobody's using it. Like, literally nobody's using it. So I feel like that's really an unfortunate situation. That is a truly unfortunate situation. And I hope that that Microsoft kind of rectifies that in the future if they want to have any kind of a chance. You've got to please your fans. You've got to get your fans excited about gaming. And to do that, you've got to show off games. So why would they show off a Halo game 2 years out, a Gears game 2 years out, an Ori game 2 years out, but not a Fable game 2.5, 3 years? Like, I don't get it. You got to have faith in your companies, in your studios to see what they're going to be able to do. So, Doggy Dog 420 says I'll switch to PS5 before PC. I agree. Like I'm not a PC guy. Next Doc says Vita was a good handheld. I do. I have it. I have it. Brad Tafe says, crap, what does Mooch do for a living? Is he a chef? No, he just eats a lot of food. Next Doc says, crap, it's tough being so heavily Xbox, but we have to take a stand with our money. Phil hears our complaints, but he's not listening. I've been slowly moving my library over. Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate. Like I said, I've got over 200 games now on PlayStation 4. It's just because, you know, I've been picking them up cheap and I'll be able to carry them over. And so that's fine. Even if I haven't been able to play them, like I bought stuff like Titanfall 2 for $5 and Star Wars Battlefront 2 for $5 and some of their exclusives pretty cheap that I've been kind of going back and playing. I got a lot of VR games with Sony as well. So yeah, the Vita is a great machine. But if people were so interested in playing console quality games on the go, the Vita would have been selling huge. I even have a 3DS XL, and I love that machine. I've got probably 35 games for it, but I don't really play it on the go the way that I think people would. Like, why wouldn't you have one of these dedicated machines to play games on the go if you were really that interested in playing on the go? So I'm not sure that there's this big interest in doing that the way that Microsoft kind of believes. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to do as good as what they think. So, yeah, to me, that's just one of those things that I don't understand. You know, just my opinion anyway. Hold on. The way Crapgamer, the PS4 Pro is still $400. Yeah, supposedly the PS4 Pro did very well for them. You know. Fun Creator says Gran Turismo 7, Bloodborne 2, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, God of War 2, Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima. PS5 will wreck Xbox. Well, Fun Creator, I'm not disagreeing with you. Microsoft's going to go up there and be like, here's another Halo, here's another Forza, here's a Fable teaser, let's go, right? I honestly think that people are going to set themselves up for a disappointing E3 next year if they think Microsoft is going to show like a ton of new stuff. They're not going to. I think they're going to show like Phil Spencer over the last 3 or 4 years or whatever. Like he always get this like sly look in his face, right? I think we've all seen it when people ask him, "Do you got any big AAA announcements that you guys are hiding?" And he always like has this sly look on his face. And then after E3, it's always just a Forza game. And he's like, "Yeah, well, we got this Forza game." And I'm like, Forza. I mean, I like Forza. I do. But damn, man, that's the best you can offer your fans is another Forza game. Like I like Forza, but holy crap, give us something really, really good, you know? That's what I would love to see. You know, something really great. You know, I'm just so disappointed. And I know, like, here's the thing. People go as for this. Like, I'm pretty honest with you guys, and I know some people will go, well, crap. You're only becoming a pony because of this. Like, look, man, somebody will tell you, man, my subscribers dip every day. You know, people people don't like what I have to hear. If I wanted to be, I probably could have just went on kissing Microsoft's ass and been much bigger. But the problem is, man, just as a person, like the whole reason why I stopped doing the whole like Zinger Howard Stern thing when I first started doing YouTube, and you can ask like Zaire, like I had this whole like Zinger, and you can even ask Rand Outdoor. Like me and him have had really good conversations. He might not like me or whatever, but he'll tell you that there's a big difference between that asshole crap gamer originally from years ago and the person that I actually am. So I was doing that like Zingerish kind of crap, and you know, and I genuinely liked Xbox, and I thought they had a lot of good things going on for themselves. And then slowly I started seeing them go more and more towards being an app and doing things that I just can't really get into. Like, I don't care that they're streaming and PC, but damn, throw me a bone. Make me feel like you at least want me to spend my money on an Xbox, right? When Phil's like turning up his nose going, we don't even make money from those. We only want software sales and services, right? I'm like, Phil, you're killing me here. Because Sony in the same day is saying we want these hardcore gamers. And so I feel kind of detached there. You know, it's disappointing. So yeah, I have to be as honest as I can because I suck at like BSing. So, you know, a lot of people go, oh crap, it's only doing this to get views and subs. And it's like, look, that stuff's down because my fan base was built up of mostly Xbox fans, and they don't want to hear that Xbox is dropping the ball. But at the same time, what can I do? I mean, I gotta be, you know, I wouldn't enjoy sitting up here every day going, Xbox is the best box, guys, and then secretly I'm playing more PlayStation because they're doing a better job right now. you know, so I figured I'd get out in front of it and tell you guys just how it is. I hope Xbox does good though, because I'm a fan of what they're doing. So yeah, hopefully. And hey, hit the like button as well, guys. I would appreciate that. You guys have been really great, you know, really good stuff so far. So, you know, I think that you know, next generation is going to be a lot of fun for most of us. I just think that you know, it just comes down to what we want to play, and I feel like Microsoft doesn't get that exclusives matter, while you know, while Sony obviously understands tremendously that exclusives matter a lot, and they matter a lot to me too. So, let's see. Long Drive says, "Crap, you just said it's important to show games that's 2 to 3 years out." No, Sony was showing games that was like 4 years out. Some of them even longer. Look at Dreams, right? Or look at okay, look at Death Stranding. I think they started showing that like 3.5, 4 years before it's released. It's finally going to release this year, so they got people hyped up for it though. So yeah, Das Misi says, telling the truth is is bashing Xbox, which yeah, I mean that's basically how you can look at it. Yeah, so Crap Gamer has been pointing out things he dislikes since Quantum Break and Play Anywhere. Yeah, you can go back and look. I did a video called Microsoft's going in a direction that I can't follow, or something along those lines. I was like, dude, I get it. They're putting stuff on PC, but their PC focus was causing delays in games because they have to release at the same time on PC with crossplay and this and that. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Let's see. What do we got here? We're going to see grown men cry at Sony's E3 next year. Look, I'm excited for it, man. I missed E3. I miss E3. Straight Duvall says, "Come on, Crap, you've never been the most on." I try to be as honest as I can. I try to be entertaining and funny, but I'm not out here like I've never had an intent to go out here and go, well, this or this or this, as straight up lie. If you look at a lot of the stuff that I talk about, it's just what everybody else does, the news. Like sometimes that's wrong too. I can give an opinion and maybe you don't agree with my opinion. It doesn't make me liar or you know what I'm saying? Like I don't go out there intentionally to do that. I think you know, when I do these type of things, it's easy to come across as more sincere and honest with you guys and just tell you guys how it is. I don't try to hide anything from anybody. Mega Cloud says, "I miss asshole Crap Gamer. He was funny." The problem is it's 2019, Mega. So I can't do that. It's like you can't really get away with it. I know that you know, it's something nowadays, right? Like it's bullying or it's insensitive or it's like, you know, something you really have to kind of make a conscious choice and effort to not say certain like things that you could get away with, even just doesn't even like even in not a negative way. You just have to be careful with what you say. So I'm very careful with that. I try to follow the rules, you know. Sony's the master of playing to nostalgia of gamers. They brought out Yu Suzuki to announce Shenmue 3, and then after 8 years in development, they showed The Last Guardian. Yeah, they did a good job with that. Also, they showed Final Fantasy VII Remake, which finally gets to release next year. So they really, really did. Gamer O'Malley says, "You missed my super chat." Gamer O'Malley says, "Crap, it's time to unblock me on Twitter." Hold on, what's your name on Twitter? O'Malley, I will definitely unblock you on Twitter. I unblocked some people today as well, but yeah, if you give me your name, I will on Twitter. I will definitely unblock you, my friend. And yeah, I've been trying to do that a little bit more. Let's see. Let me see. I'll give you the right with Remedy. I'll give you the right info. Remedy told Eurogamer we were going multi-plat. He doesn't actually say that, DJ Singh. He says that we have the ability that we could do that. But if you look at what Microsoft is doing, or look what Sony's doing, because I linked it. Sony is looking to buy new studios as well. They're rumored to buy out Remedy as well. Can Sony even buy Remedy if they're public? Why couldn't they just buy controlling shares, right? Like that's how you would do that. You would just have to buy controlling shares, and you could definitely do that. Crap. So who do you think is going to have more power, PS5 or Scarlet? I think Scarlet will have more power. I do believe, like I was sent some stuff by developer. I do believe that Scarlet's going to be able to do like the ray tracing at a hardware level, whatever that is, right? So if that's super important to you, then I think, you know, you'll be excited by that, and that's cool. But then I also think that PlayStation 5 is going to be powerful, and they're both going to do 4K 60. They're both going to be very powerful machines. So it's going to come down to the content that you want, and I think that's what's going to be. That's what's going to happen. Anonymous customer says there are so many badass games Xbox could bring back, they could bring back a ton of games, man. They own all the Rare catalog. They could bring back Banjo-Kazooie. They could have had Alan Wake, but I guess they didn't want that. There's a ton of games. They have Project Gotham Racing if they want to take a break on Forza for a little bit. They own a ton of games. They do. They even own Two Human, the IP. I know they just released that game for free. There's a ton of games that they own that they just honestly don't even bother with. I would just rather them just come out with some new stuff. So, yeah. PS5 and Scarlet are going to be so similar. It's going to be super, super similar for sure. Yeah, look, Alan Wake, I have the collector's edition for that on Xbox 360, which I absolutely love. I thought it was amazing. I remember when they announced the backwards compatible. I think that's one of the games that's 4K on the Xbox One. So, yeah, there is that to kind of look forward to. I think that that's pretty damn awesome. And I think that, I hope there's a sequel. Even if it's multi-plat, I hope we get a sequel. That would be awesome. Protos X, me and Crap argued. Oh, you're Protos X. Okay, I'll definitely unblock you right now. Yeah. So as many of you guys might know, like back in the day, man, I would just block people, on Twitter. Which actually, your name's Garrett, right? You're not blocked. Actually, I just followed you for a second. Protos X. Yeah, there you go. You're not blocked, man. You're still. It says you're following me on Twitter, so yeah, there's no problem there. I just, I ended. A lot of you also might know that, I ended a lot of the beefs and stuff like that I had with other YouTubers. Like, I honestly just want to talk about video games. In fact, Enrique there, he's somebody that I didn't get along with for a while. There was a little bit of a thing there or whatever. And now we get along fine. Next gen, me and him are getting along fine. I got no problem with Dealer and Colton. Those guys, they can do their thing. I'm doing my thing. Nothing there. I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. There was a little bit of a problem. We worked it out, clean slate. I've got no problem with anybody, man. I just want to do my own thing. That's the main thing that I kind of stress, man. I want to have fun and do my own thing. Jason Mao is my Twitter. Okay. I'll unblock that too, man. No issues right there. MBG, thumbs up. I tried to talk to MBG, right? He doesn't do. What's funny is, right? So a couple years ago, I invited him to do BGST, and he was all for it. And then what happened was, he said no, he changed his mind because he doesn't want to do. And this was years ago. He doesn't want to do like collaborations and stuff. So I was like, okay. I was like, that's fine. And then I forgot all about it. And then people were like, see if you can get MBG on or whatever. So I messaged him again, and I noticed that I had already messaged him years ago on my Twitter account, and he said the same thing. He's like, he doesn't do, he doesn't do collaborations or anything like that. And I can respect that. It is what it is, It's one of those things that, to each their own. There's nothing saying that people have to work together or whatever. I just, it was a little bit weird. I would have liked to kind of talk with the guy or whatever. But, at the end of the day, he kind of did what he wanted to do, and I'm fine with that. For me personally, I wouldn't mind doing some collaborations. I think that kind of keeps things fresh and keeps everybody kind of happy and things like that. Crap Mooch and MBG, that's money. Hey, Yobi, man, what's up? Hey, man, Yobi, maybe you saw me. I was tweeting out some pictures of Crash Bandicoot last night, man. I'm loving that game, man. The nostalgia of Crash Bandicoot Racing, man, I really appreciate that. You really, I'm really appreciative of that, man. I really am. Like, you're awesome, man. I appreciate that tremendously. So, absolutely. Hold on, Enrique. EC Jackson. I'm gonna try to see if I can find this guy's Twitter. Yeah, I do have this guy blocked. Look at that. Now I just unblocked him. So yeah, he says he's a Brap guy. Yeah, I just unblocked him, Enrique. No problem. I've unblocked so many people, man. It's great, but I literally had thousands of people blocked. What an asshole I was. Yeah, dude, it was good, man. It was good. I love seeing the Crash Bandicoot stuff. Like the nostalgia of that just had me going crazy, man. That game just it looks so great. I appreciate it, man, because you hooked me up with that game. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. Also, plus, man, Yobi, I want to say thank you for the kind words the other day too. Listen, I get it, Yobi, man. A lot of the Xbox fans on Twitter are mad at me or pissed off or whatever. That happens. Nobody's gonna always. I stir the pot a little bit. I get that too. Like today, I was like, right before I went live, I was like, hey, tell me about it. I'm gonna pull up the chair. I'm gonna be your therapist today. Tell me about it. Because Xbox is basically giving away the any resonance of the exclusive that they had. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. So yeah, absolutely. Oh wow, this is pretty cool. So my fiance just texted me, right? So I have a couple of Elite controllers, and my who's going to be my stepson, who's about to be 4. He dropped my Elite controller, and you guys know if you drop an Elite controller, the the things that can come apart, right? Because those just are held in by a magnet. So my the sticks came out and I lost them. I'm like, damn, I'm never gonna be able to find these things again. So she just texted me that she found this. Like, so this is a little bit embarrassing but funny. So there's this package of feminine wipes, right? And it's like almost like a and there's like a little center part, and you pull them out sort of like you would when you blow your nose on something or whatever with a tissue, but these are feminine wipes instead. So the trigger, the thing was actually in the package. So yeah, that was kind of ironic, but she found it. So I'm very thankful for that, because when you lose those things, it's hard to find them back. So yeah, just kind of ironic thing. I'm like, holy crap, thank you so much. He found that, because I was using different ones. So that was just funny as hell to me. So my wedding is early next year, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to stream it. No, I'm definitely not going to stream it. But yeah, it's going to be February of next year. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I got that back now, and I'm happy, because I had to take some of the parts off the other controller to kind of get it to work in there. So no, well, it's going to be kind of small. You know what I mean? It's not my first go around, and it's not hers either. So it's something where we kind of wanted to keep it small, but the wedding is going to be small, but then we're going to do kind of a bigger reception and stuff like that for like more people and things. So yeah, it's got it's a lot of fun. She actually watches me game sometimes. She games, actually. She has her own profile and stuff on my Xbox, and sometimes you might see her play, or she plays like kart racing games. She likes a lot of that stuff as well. She really likes stuff like Peggle too, so she thought that was really cool. But yeah, it's kind of fun to turn her into a little bit of a gamer. Like, she's really liking it, and she plays like phone games and stuff. So she's the type of gamer that Xbox probably wants. Play some games on her phone. But I don't think she's very interested in playing like Gears of War on her phone, or something like that. So yeah, that's something that's kind of funny. Oh man, Jarex, man, he says I'm marrying my shitbox X. Congrats, dude. Where have you been, man? I'm not even hyping Xbox anymore, dude. You can stop hating. Like, I'm trying to. Will there be harmonica music? There might be. Maybe I will serenade her with a little. She is. She has in your BF. Oh, come on, Jarex. That's not nice. You got it all wrong, man. You got it all wrong, man. It's not about that, man. It's love, and I don't have a problem. Like, I don't hate Xbox. That's the thing where people get it wrong, right? They think that I hate Xbox. Now, I don't hate Xbox at all. I think Xbox is fine. I think that they wasted a couple opportunities. You have the most powerful console in the world, and you don't give us anything to show off, right? And then with the problem, then you have stuff like E3, where you have no competition there this E3, right? And instead of going out there and knocking it dead and showing us a reason to buy the next Xbox. Instead of doing that, basically what happens is they don't give us any reason to buy the next Xbox. They didn't show us anything. Supposedly, people go, "Oh, well, they're just probably waiting for, they're probably waiting for, next year." Like, why wait the next year? Sell me on your Xbox this year so I can be hyped about it and be doing videos about it for a full year, right? Like the Xbox One X. Like, how many freaking videos did Xbox influencers do about the Xbox Scorpio, right? Scorpio this, more power, 4K, true 4K, right? So instead of hyping up that and their new console and their games, we don't get anything, like nobody's going to hype. I mean, you might still see some people hype up some stuff, but you're not going to see the level of hype that you normally would have, because I'm not going to buy into the next Xbox with no real reason to buy into it, like a games, like to me, I've already bought the X and didn't get the games, didn't deliver. I'm not going to buy a Scarlet or hype up a Scarlet when you haven't shown me a reason to buy one. Like that's, going to be a big problem for me. So, I feel like that's kind of where I'm coming from with this whole thing. Is Microsoft has done a really piss poor job of showing me and giving me reasons to, giving me a reason to actually buy anything there, So hopefully, we'll get some games, and I do truly 100% believe we will get some games. But I feel like by the time they're ready to release these games, they're probably going to be games that might release on PlayStation. Like if you were to ask me, say, "Hey, crap, do you in your heart of hearts believe that Microsoft is going to release games on PlayStation console?" I would say I do believe that they're going to release games on the PlayStation console. I think particularly the PlayStation 5, I feel like they'll fully publish, not just Game Pass, but I think they'll fully publish some games on PlayStation 5. We've already heard that they've talked about putting games on, they shopped the Master Chief Collection to Sony at some point years ago. They're putting games on the Switch. Why wouldn't they? Right now, Sony might not be okay with this, but I honestly do think that Microsoft might end up posting some of their games on PlayStation 5 before too long. So it wouldn't shock me at all. It wouldn't shock me at all, to be honest with you. Hold on. I will unblock you on Twitter. The 1%. I think it. Paige says, "Crapgamer, one day I will meet you and shake your hand and give you a donation. Thank you for your content on YouTube." Look, even if you guys don't, like I love doing this stuff, and I can't do it as much as before. Like, so one thing that people might not notice or might not understand is at one particular point, I was doing on average 3 videos a day, sometimes 4, right? And now I'm doing, so that's an incredibly large amount of videos per month. And I was doing multiple podcasts. Now I'm doing between 30 and 45 less videos per month. So that's an incredible decline. And it's just one of those things where I couldn't imagine just having, kind of my social life where it is and work and be able to do the amount of content that I did. So I took a step back, and I'm also improving. I improved my computer. Once I move fully, I'll be able to do some better editing and be able to record new footage and stuff like that. So things will continue to get better. Like, I'm not giving up this whole YouTube thing. I actually want to go in front of the camera and do some kind of work with that as well. Pivot a little bit. Like, I like, show off my gaming collection. Sometimes I'll go hunting down classic games. I feel like, there's some YouTubers that do that, but I feel like I could do that too and find my own little space where I can do a little bit of everything. So I would love to do more than just, like I said, I believe that console wars are kind of over. That was fun, right? And there's always going to be people that are like, "I'm PlayStation, I'm Xbox, I'm Nintendo, I'm PC," right? There's always going to be people that do that. But I feel like what I can do is focus more on the content, and just the differences, maybe call out if there's something bad or something good. Like, good things are always much funner to talk about than bad things. Today, I was disappointed and kind of blindsided by what we got from Microsoft, and I wish they would have changed something. But unfortunately, we got this news, and Sony and Microsoft won't even come out and address it, I don't think. So that's a little bit unfortunate, and I'm a little bit bummed out by that. But other than that, man, I'm excited for where gaming's going. With the exception of game streaming, that's not really my thing, but I do hope that, we always have an option to game and be able to game natively on hardware as well. So, hey, I just saw this Witcher stuff from Netflix. I'm not. I mean, it looks okay. It doesn't look as bad as maybe I thought it would look. What do you guys think? Interesting. Yeah. Very, very interesting stuff. So, yeah, interesting. Nonetheless. Hold on. What do we got here? I'm going to answer some more questions. Oh, okay, Brap. We'll see you, Enrique. Thank you. Everybody hit the like button. I would like to get 150 likes. I would really appreciate that as well. You guys are really awesome, man. I really do think the world of you guys. You guys have been incredible. You guys come out here like, I had over 400 people just on a random, um, on a random type of show. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna do a random show. Here we are, and you guys come out and support me. I think that's incredible. And then the ones that have done some of the stuff with like the super chat and stuff like that. That's always appreciated. You don't have to, but it does show support of the show and things like that. Maybe like, let's just say, maybe you hated my show before, you hated my channel before, and you like kind of a middle of the road crap gamer, and you want to show some support. That stuff is always appreciated because it helps me out, and it enables me to get better equipment, or which I was able to upgrade my PC and stuff. It's just a matter of getting everything together and being able to do that. So I'm very appreciative of the guys that do and girls that do support me. Thank you guys so much for rocking out. Lone Star says, great show, crap. I like this style of podcast. One-on-one with Rand or Dealer would be cool. Those guys are super busy, man. I don't know if they'd be even willing to do one with me, man. Those guys are way bigger than me, so I'm not really sure that they would be down with doing a video with me. But I would like to do something, I think, with Next Gen sometime, or me and Mooch are starting a exclusive Patreon podcast. There's going to be 2 of them. They're not going to be on YouTube at all. So we are sort of doing that. So that's something to kind of keep in mind if you guys are interested. I think one of them is going to be at the $1 level. You're going to get one. I think it's going to be available on like iTunes and Google Play and stuff like that, and Spotify, and the other one as well. But they're going to be different from each other. One of them is going to be focused usually on one topic for the whole time, and the other one's just going to be like kind of a rundown of different topics. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that we've got planned. It's going to be fun to see how this kind of works out for everybody. I'm excited to see what happens in the future in terms of what we can do and how we can change things on YouTube. What's weird is it looks like they're going to end the Hangouts soon. So it's going to be strange to see how we're going to be able to continue to do that. So I hear some people are going to be using OBS and stuff. I think I'm going to have to figure out something. They suggest like some kind of webcam streaming or whatever. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that, but we'll see how it works out. As long as I can get a microphone across, we'll see what I can do. So it's going to be fun to see how that kind of works out. But again, if you guys are just joining me, the kind of big news of the day is Sony is claiming that they're looking to buying new studios and things like that. And not only are they looking to buy new studios, but Remedy Entertainment, ironically, gets back the publishing rights from Microsoft just in time, right? Just in time to actually be able to go out there and get an Alan Wake 2, which I think at the very least we'll see an Alan Wake remaster now, which I'm totally cool with. But also an Alan Wake 2 would be great, even if it's multiplat. I think that would be fine. It just really comes down to being able to get something out there to play and get something out there that's enjoyable. And I think that Remedy Entertainment can absolutely do that. Hold on, let's see. Oh, Snakes says, crap, I've supported you since 2016. I've always understood what you come from besides a few different subjects. Yeah, look, nobody's going to agree 100% on everything. It really just depends on what you feel. But I try to, try to keep it as real as possible. NREX117 says Microsoft doesn't need to sell an IP to get money. There must be a good reason. Well, here's the thing. Microsoft wasn't going to do anything with the IP. They don't like it. I've heard Phil Spencer doesn't like the IP. Patman Jones, what's up, man? I haven't seen you forever, dude. Now True says, crap, why don't you stream gameplay, bro? The reason why I don't stream gameplay is because my internet doesn't have a good enough upload speed to do that. So it's something that I would have a lot of trouble actually being able to do. It looked like a flip book or something. So yeah, I tend to not be able to do that, but at the same time, I would love to be able to do that, man. Like me and Mooch are actually one of the Patreon things that we're setting up is we're gonna have the Patreon people vote on what we stream each month. Like we're gonna do at least one stream a month together, and so you'll be able to hear me in the streams and stuff. But you'll probably be just following around Mooch, but you'll be able to hear me. So yeah, we've been talking about that. There's a lot of cool things that we're working on behind the scenes, and I think it's gonna be a fun time for all you guys. We're actually talking about, since this E3 looks like it might be big, maybe making an E3 appearance. Now, a lot of stuff has to come out right for us to be able to do that, but I would love to actually be able to go out there to E3, get to meet some people, and sort of have a good time with that. So yeah, I'm definitely kind of looking forward to that, and hopefully that's something that we can accomplish this year or this upcoming year and within the next year. Now True says, crap, you don't need great internet, just lower the bit rate. Is that true? Like, I don't know, man. My upload speed is 1.45 right now. That's not very good. So, well, the problem is, if you guys didn't know, so my internet is technically still just DSL. So that's all they have in this area. I kind of live rurally, and so we have DSL, and that's it. So more game reviews. I plan on doing more game reviews. I wanted to review the Forza Horizon 4 Lego thing, but again, I don't have like I'm at my place right now, which has my PC, and I have better internet here. When I go to my fiance's place where I'll be moving, she has worse internet, but has my TVs and my game systems and stuff over there. So I don't have anything to capture here. I have to wait till I finish moving in there. And so I'm thinking about maybe just picking up a secondary PC, and then that way I can do both from both places. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So yeah, I kind of want to go to E3, man. Yeah, so it is weird. Like my internet is pretty bad, so it does make it difficult to sort of streaming stuff like that. But I've always wanted to, because I feel like I'm kind of interesting, and I've got a kind of a good personality for streaming and stuff like that. So I would love to actually get out there and be able to do some streaming and stuff like that. But I don't see it happening outside of like doing stuff with Mooch and and some of that stuff. So yeah, and again, I'm not anti Xbox, guys. Don't think that if you are like a super Xbox fan, don't think that I'm just going to go all Xbox hate. When there's good stuff, when there's really good stuff, I plan on talking about it, and I'm being excited about it. If Microsoft nails it next E3, I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, wait till next E3, because I think that's BS. But if Microsoft does come out with good stuff, I'll be happy for it, man. I'll be really, really happy. Now True says, if your upload speed is 1.2, turn the bit rate to 1200 kilobytes per second, and it'll be smooth. I'll have to check it out. Let's see. You and I started this generation on opposites, but after listening to you over the years, I found out and agree with you more times than not. Keep up the great work, boss. Thank you, Low End Average Game, and I appreciate it. Jay Slayer says, crap moving and shit sucks. Is it a really nice place? Yeah, I mean, it's, well, it's like, when I'll have stepkids. So, like, when they're in school and stuff, it doesn't make sense to do the other way around. Do you think Fable is going to be more exciting than Uncharted 5? Oh, that's a good question. I'm excited about both. I'm excited about both. Paige says, I'm going to clean my home. Friends, thanks for having me. Good podcast, Crapgamer. Thank you very much, Paige. I really appreciate you being level-headed and showing the support. Please hit the like button on the way out. Crappy Mondays, folks. I like doing this. I actually wanted to do this a little bit earlier, but hey, why not go out there and do it right now? I think you guys are kind of enjoying this kind of stuff, like impromptu stuff or whatever. But I like to do the Monday thing. I usually get home early, and I have a lot of fun with this. So you guys have been absolutely fantastic. So what do I think is planned for E3 2020? I think Microsoft is going to show off Scarlet, and I think they're going to show a Fable teaser, and I think they're going to show Forza Motorsport 8, and there's an outside chance we might see Ninja Theory's new IP, depending on what that is. I don't know. But it could be a really, really good E3. Now, if you ask me what I think Sony is going to show, I think Sony's going to show Horizon Zero Dawn 2, a new Uncharted game, PlayStation 5. We might see versions of Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima launch with the PS5. Gran Turismo is going to, I feel like, will probably be a launch game or at least be shown off. So they're going to show a ton of games for sure. Lansville Paul says, is anyone paying attention to the fact that many people are saying that PS5 is a day one buy, including me? Listen, day one buy for me. I'm going to get it. Next doc says, crap, can you give me a percentage on your faith in Xbox giving us a AAA games from their first party outside of the three, of course? Personally, I'm at 25%. I think, okay, so their first party, AAA, I think we're going to get a Fable tease. So I'm going to say I'm 50-50 because I 100% think they'll finally show Fable, but I think they put a lot of unrealistic expectation on themselves, and we'll have to see how that kind of works out. But I'm at 50-50. I think they'll see Fable, but if you're talking about a new IP, I think 25% is right. Like, I think there's a 25% chance of a new AAA IP. Like, I'm talking about something new, not a Battletoads or a smaller game like Bleeding Edge. Even if you like Bleeding Edge or think that looks good, I think that's interesting. Next year's E3, or wait till next E3, better, everybody. Let's see. Jesse Darby says, where did you get this from? They've given up the IP. They've never owned my IP. Remedy's always owned it. Well, they gave up the publishing rights, which I linked that in the description. So, yeah, Microsoft does own Quantum Break, but they did own the publishing rights as well, which I linked below, Jesse. So, yeah, they gave up the publishing rights. I couldn't fit publishing into the title, but Microsoft just gave up publishing rights to the IP, and Sony rumored to get it. The PS5 isn't going to be $800. I would assume that the PS5 is going to be $499, just like the Xbox Scarlet. So yeah. Wait till next year, guys. Wait till next E3. It's going to be fantastic. I bet you. I guarantee it's going to be great. I can't wait till next E3 to hear Phil Spencer get up there and go, "Hey guys, it's me, Phil Spencer. Play your games where you want, when you want, on whatever device you want." Right? So, yeah. It's going to be great. I'm not sold on it yet personally, but hey, what do I know? Jesse Darby says that Bleeding Edge could become very popular with him players like that multiplayer aspect. Hey, it could be. It could be. Well, Overwatch 2 is rumored to come out next year, Jesse. So I think Overwatch 2 might eclipse Bleeding Edge. That could be, that could be true. XO19, I wouldn't expect anything big. They're not going to announce like new IPs or anything like that. So I wouldn't expect that. Anyway, you guys have been absolutely fantastic today. I got to get going. I got some stuff to do today. Please like the video on your way out. Hit the bell if you haven't already, because it really helps out. You guys get notified right away. It's going to be a fun week. Great time. Thank you guys so much for rocking out with me. Peace out. Rack 'em up. Later.